Hi, and thank you for tuning in to Dani Changg. So today we have two ladies from the Toronto area here with us.
Yeah.
So ladies, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Alizia.
I'm Tasha, and we are from a show called CHATBOUT Toronto.
We always have these like kind of conversations where we're just like, this happened to you on a date. Oh, this is this, and then we should talk about this live, you know. And then they heard and Tess started it, and then I don't know how I got added on.
I added you.
They called me and they were like looking at me. Hey Mel, we have an idea, and I was just like, sure, why not?
So many times you have conversations just with your girls or with your group of friends, and you're like, we should have recorded this. Like this conversation was really interesting, right?
And so, you know, a lot of people are relating to it. Like, it's not just you. There's a lot of other women who are experiencing the same things that you're experiencing.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So, and if you're like comfortable enough to be like open and candid, people can really like relate to that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is one thing we are, is candid.
So be sure to check out CHATBOUT Toronto. Today we're going to be talking about monogamy. And is it really realistic? Like, how realistic do we think it is? So I'll start off the first question by asking, do you guys believe in monogamy? Yes, no, and why?
So I will say that I don't necessarily believe in monogamy. I think there are many different scenarios where people can exist happily within relationships. I think we all know that monogamy is a North American and a modern day construct. That's not something that traditionally indigenous cultures experience. Or
I think less than 10,000 years ago. Just.
There we go.
Did your research?
Yeah, we all kind of have been bred to be in that type of environment and in that relationship, you know, construct. But it's not necessarily something that works for everyone. I know a lot of people who are in open relationships, who are in polygamous relationships, who, you know, so it's not something.
You know a lot of people.
I do.
Oh, okay.
I do.
I don't.
You don't? I have close friends that are you know, married, and they've been married for many years. They live a very happy life, but they also explore other people.
Really?
And they talk about it openly, and they give each other permissions. But there's also a lot of respect and a lot of rules around it, right? It's not what we think it is. A lot of times we think that, you know, having an open relationships means that you could just be out there frolicking and doing whatever you want. And that is what a lot of people who don't really and truly live that life kind of paint it to be, right? But it's really something that's really based on a lot of respect for your partner, right? And there's a lot of communication that has to happen in order for you to feel comfortable and still live within that, you know?
And I think it honestly kind of sets the stage, especially since they have so much open communication, it kind of sets the stage for you to be more honest. Because in most monogamous relationships, if you have that conversation, the person's mad, the person might break up with you, the person might, like, you know, blaze you, so you're more likely to keep things a secret.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
That's right.
So, I'm sorry. Your friends that are in this polygamous relationship, do they both get to have open relationships, or is it just the man? Because usually when I see it,
they both man and woman both experience and explore their sexual, you know, pleasures outside of the relationship, but it's not a secret. Right? There's date nights where the husband will say, I'm going on a date, and he'll be very open and honest with his wife and tell her who it's with, where they're going, what they're doing. She's not there, but, you know, and if there was ever a conversation where she wanted to be there, then that would be another conversation where she's there. You know what I mean? And vice versa. You know, he allows his wife to go out and do as she feels. Like if she wants to date someone, whatever. And there's also the others where that's like an open relationship. Yeah, and then there's like the polygamous relationships where it's multi-partied, right? Those I think tend to be more the male having multiple women, right? And the women all know of each other. It's all like sister wives, right? So they all know about each other. They all know their role, and they all know that, you know, they're in this collective relationship.
They've agreed to be in that setup, right?
Typically, though, I find that those relationships are not open on both sides. It's a group of people that have decided that they are going to be with this man.
Within that
I haven't seen it the other way around, where it's like one woman with like 3 men or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, they collectively agree that I know he has her and me, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and that'd be something actually interesting to do a little bit more research on, because I wonder if there probably is somewhere where there's like a woman to more men, because think of those countries even where right now the males are outnumbering the females by so much, right? You don't think that might end up being something that ends up happening there?
The thing is that with those scenarios though is that they always go back to when you're having babies, right? Who's the father?
Yeah.
If there's one woman and more than one man, how do you know? I mean, now we can do DNA testing and stuff, right? But that was traditionally what
I think in
the issue was.
Egypt they did do it's called polyandry, with the woman with the woman. But I think it's popular, but only to a certain extent, because if you really think about it, the whole concept of polygamy and having these non-monogamous relationships in the past was for reproduction. So a man obviously can reproduce way more than a woman and way faster than a woman. So I think it happens, but then it's kind of like it's easier for a man because they can kind of really have the right, like they can cultivate them, use it so they can use their family, and they can all work on the farm together. You know, like things like that. So I don't know.
And you're right. Back in the day, they were populating the earth, right?
That's
why it made sense. But in today's world, there's still men who are populating the earth.
Yes.
Okay, but the difference is they're not taking care of necessarily taking
that's
care of.
That's what I was gonna say. But you know what? I feel like we're jumping a little bit ahead. But like I agree with what you're saying.
Right.
I think if you're gonna have all those wives and kids, you better be able to take care of them.
And you have to treat them all equally as well.
Yeah.
I believe in monogamy, but because of the way our society is structured at this particular time, I think that you do need a partner. Like with all like social media and all those extra influences that are affecting us psychologically, I don't think that a lot of women would be able to handle that kind of relationship at all.
Women, you don't think men?
But remember, if it's just going to be, if we're going to look at it on the sister wives perspective, not on the other one where we get this open.
Okay.
But if it's open, I don't think men can handle it either.
They can't.
No, but
a lot of times.
So it's kind of like, I won't judge. I think there's something for everybody, and everybody does their own thing. But I'm more monogamous. But I'm not going to lie to you. I am 39.
Yeah.
And if at 45 or 50, a man who has money, a man who has a little money and can be period, that can be able to sustain what he says, I might join that train.
He might be a sister wife.
What am I going to do? I'm going to sit here and be single and look at my skies when I'm 70. So I might consider it.
And I understand that point. But notice how you preface that with a man
with money.
Because if not, then what would be the incentive for
I might well just be by myself.
Absolutely.
Right.
I want to be in a monogamous relationship. I don't think that as much as I understand all the others, for myself, I would want to be in a monogamous relationship. I would want to be building with one person, and we have our little family, and you know, we do for each other. And that doesn't mean that we're not open to exploring other things and being, you know, freaky when we gotta be freaky. But you know what I'm saying? But like in terms of who we are faithful to, it's us.
So how about you?
Oh, I was just about to. So, I definitely do believe in monogamy, but I'm sure that's because of where I've grown up, how I've grown up, what I've seen. You know, when I was younger, my parents were together, so I was seeing that as well. And I do think that in the society as well, as you said, we do need a partner, right? To just even be able to survive, to buy a house, to live like a decent lifestyle, not be struggling, right? It's a dual income society. But I think those that choose to do otherwise, as long as everyone has like their choice to be in that or not, then hey, do you? But for myself, definitely I think monogamy would be my first choice. But please let us know what you guys think in the comments, whether you know, believe monogamy, or if you're kind of more open to other options as well.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I can think of one really popular YouTuber too, Shannon Boudram.
Yes.
She's well known for being in an open relationship, but then they got married and everything.
Yes.
But I think
They
that
just
it's
had their
still,
baby.
yeah.
But are they still going to be open now that they're married?
I know that's the
I don't
part
know
I'm
if
not
they
quite
are.
sure about. I'm not quite sure about, but I know that they're
very
open.
focused right now, so I don't know that is something that they're
Exactly.
probably doing right now because they just had a baby, and so they're just in their own little cocoon of their family. And maybe that might change. Like when children are added to the scenario, things definitely change because you might feel more vulnerable. You might feel like whereas you were younger and sexy and free up, then that might be something that didn't threaten you before, but having a child, you might start to feel, and not that I'm not saying that she does, but I'm just saying, other things could come in and maybe change the dynamic of that.
No, I agree.
That's true, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
So I know we kind of discussed it and how it's just been in the last 10,000 years, but where do you guys think the whole idea of monogamy came from?
I think it's a social construct. I think that it had to do with religion.
Yes.
I was about to say that.
They kind of forced it, but I think at that time, people were they were trying to control the population in a sense because they were saying people were going on wild. I don't know if that's true or how true that is.
But remember, in biblical times, they had more than one wife.
Yeah.
They did.
They sure did.
Right? And even in the Quran, they also have multiple wives. So I think it's more of a societal thing than a religious thing.
Oh, but
I think they might have morphed religion
into it
to support
yes,
societal
yes,
thinking.
Yes.
But when you read back in the Bible, all those days, they had multiple wives, they had enough children. They had, you know what I mean?
All type of things were going on in the Bible, yes.
So I don't even know when. I mean, I don't know when and why and how, but I think that it was more of a societal thing. And again, I think it happens more, I want to say European and that kind of culture, I think is probably what brought it in more so. Yeah. Because when you look at indigenous people, they didn't have that.
Right.
So where did it come from?
Right. And also I think when money became the main currency, that was also important because now you didn't have a farm to tend to, so you didn't really need it. And then you have all these women with children, and then now some of these women are not able to sustain or take care of their kids, right? So now people were forcing monogamy because now they're trying to introduce the fact that a child does need their mother and father. Because now there's not that communal part of it. People are actually living, they're not living the same way as they used to. So in their mind, they're like, we need to buckle these people down.
And then what happened during the times of war? Where the men left the homes to go out to war, and the women were left behind. And some of them died at war. So then there was all these women and all these children left to fend for self. And then, so there's all these things, and I'm no historian. I'm gonna tell you that.
That's when women entered the workforce and all those kind of things too.
Nobody come at us. We're just giving our own.
We're just talking because I'm like I said. I am definitely no historian, but there's all these things that change the culture, that change the dynamic of a home and of a family home. And there's a lot of things that happen that. Like war is something that we don't really think about, but that was a big thing.
It was a big thing. There were 2 world wars. People lived through
and there's a lot of men who would go off to fight, and not return. And
then wait when they're away, right?
Now now that I think about it, I really got to read more about this because this is
it's an interesting topic to kind of think of what were the factors that kind of contributed to this being prevalent, and before why was it not, right?
Right.
Yeah. So do you guys think that this is something that should be discussed with a partner or kept secret?
Monogamy?
What do you mean?
Yeah, hold on. And is there a way to have other partners in a respectful manner? We were kind of talking about this earlier, right? Because some people would say, what he or she doesn't know is not going to hurt them, right?
Hey.
So some people would think,
those people are called cheaters.
right? So, what do you think about that? Do you think this is like something that, you know, a couple should discuss prior to?
You better tell me from the beginning what I'm getting myself into. Don't bring me into the flames and my mind is not ready for it.
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And let me make that decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I do think if you're into open relationships or if you are into polygamy, so if you tell me, Mel, I have a wife, I would probably want to marry you, but I also want to marry other women too. I think it's only fair to like, you need to tell me.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine?
Girl,
you're chilling one day and your man brings a girl over, and you be like,
know how many
but what if you
women-
never find out? What if you never find out? You go your whole life.
You lived your whole life in deception. Like, there's been so many women who have found out.
Some would argue ignorance is bliss.
Some might. But
I want my man to be elevated. Let me know. Give me the knowledge. Give me the knowledge.
There's a lot of women who found out, especially in the Caribbean. A lot of women found out that their children have siblings, same age, because the neighbor or Miss Mill down the street or whoever had children with their husbands. No, don't do me that. Don't do me that.
But then those people usually stay with them though.
Yes.
Of course, because back then they didn't get divorced. It was shameful for you to get divorced. It was shameful for you to be a single mother, right? Nowadays, we view things differently now. But in my mother's times and my grandmother's times, you weren't leaving your husband, right? And a lot of times you knew. A lot of times they did know. There's lots of women who didn't know, but there are a lot of women who knew that their husband. They just accepted because it was just understood that it was a part of what you had to understand with your husband, right? I don't want to be in anything, period, whether it be relationships, life, like work, nothing. I don't want to be in anything that I don't know all the terms of the agreement. I read in the fine print.
So let me ask both of you guys.
Okay.
So just say, how would you guys react if your partner, who didn't tell you about this, right? And one day you're chilling, Dani, you're chilling at your house, and he bring Gail over. And then he says, hey, and you're here thinking, maybe it's a cousin. Maybe it's a friend.
Well, I already know his cousin.
How would...
And then what?
He says, hey, and then he posts
this is my other...
Yeah.
What?
My other woman, I just wanted to tell you, but I wanted you both to be here. So he actually kind of puts it like in a meeting kind of situation. And how would you react? And I want to know.
Well, he must have lost his mind if he did that.
I'm calling Cam H because he gone mad.
I'm with you guys in the sense, like, it's funny because, like, I understand some people's viewpoint from the sense, like, you know, if some people are okay if their man has other women, but the woman knows their place and doesn't pass their place and things like that, right?
2020, that philosophy doesn't exist.
And social media, all that stuff, you're gonna find out. Yeah, it's very hard unless you're from completely, totally different social circles. But I think I also would want to know what I'm getting into, right?
Yes.
I would want to, and then. But though, to be honest, I would respect that. I would actually be like, because if I know this is what you're doing, I can either say yes or I can say no.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And then if you choose to stay, don't think you're going to sway them or change their mind, right? Just like in anything with men, you know, if the man says, I'm not ready, you should just keep it moving.
Believe him.
Believe him.
Believe him. If my man that I have been with, in what I believed was a monogamous relationship, showed up with his side ting, telling me about, I just wanted you guys to meet each other now because I'm ready for you to know about her. Get going, all of y'all. Get out. Because you have been deceiving me all this time. You have been cheating on me because I didn't agree to this in the beginning. We didn't have this conversation. If I knew going in that you wanted to have more than one girl and I decided to be with you, then I know. And then I can expect that one day Susie's gonna come through the door and we're gonna have dinner. That's different, right? But if I didn't know anything and I'm thinking it's me and you, we ride and we build it and we doing everything, and then all of a sudden, no, that's a deception.
Yeah.
You're a Decepticon.
I wouldn't be mean to the girl. I probably would just
you're very mature.
I probably
I don't mean to her either, but you gotta go.
I've come a long way with my anger, and if I know now where my anger level,
where it should be
where it
directed
should
to
be,
as well.
and who it should be directed
But she's also
to.
right to come into your house, but no.
Because maybe she thought she probably thought I was cute too. Maybe she thought
But
something
you
could
may not-
happen.
You also don't know what he said to her.
We don't know,
right? You don't know what story he has given her.
Because
He was deceiving you all along.
Yeah,
so
he could
who
be
knows? He could have been
deceiving her as
deceiving her too. He could have been
Right.
telling. And there's a lot of women who believe that the man, don't worry, I'm in an open relationship. My wifey knows about this. Yeah, she's cool with it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of men who do that. A lot of men, and y'all know that because there's a lot of y'all that come up being like, oh, don't worry, my wifey knows that I'm in an open relationship. Does she though? Like,
you know,
can we ask her? Because a lot of times they don't know, and it's just a man giving himself permission to go out there and do what he wants to do.
They lie.
That's what they
I've
out there in
heard
the streets doing.
so many things. We're living together, but we're not
Together.
really together.
Yeah.
We're
We
just
just
there
share
for
the
the kids.
bills and the kids.
Yeah, that's a
Meanwhile, there's dinner waiting for you, a hot plate waiting for you when you get home. Like, you guys are together.
Yeah.
You know, they tell you all kinds of stuff just to get where they're going.
But
if they say that him and the woman are still just living together but they're not together, you know never to really believe that.
Absolutely. But a lot of women do.
So then, do you guys really believe
Are they-
that polygamy is... No, but do you guys really believe that polygamy is natural then? Because in a way, so I'm not saying for everybody, but like for some people, they're still in a relationship with somebody, but secretly messing around with other people. So do you think that people feel, or men feel like they're forced to be in a serious relationship because they don't do something they really want to?
I've heard some men say that, and
Yeah.
I've heard some men say that they don't think monogamy is realistic. But then my thing with them is that, well, then why not be honest with the girl that's supposed to be your wifey,
Exactly.
and you have 5 other girls on the side? Like, if you want to live, if that's what you want to do, I'm sure there'll be some girls who will be okay with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the other part about that is, like, I think that there's a lot of conditioning that society has also done to have us believe that men can't control themselves. That's another thing that we always hear. Oh, but women are so beautiful, I just can't help it. It's not natural for a man to be one woman. All kind of stupidness, right? And we get the same temptations, we get the same urges, we get the same...
We have men coming on to us
all day long.
I said once, I got the most pickups while
and
I
you
had
had
my
your
ring.
ring. Absolutely. Because they know somebody wanted you. So, hey, you must be good. Right?
Wow.
And that's what you get, all kinds of options and offers all the time. And as women, we have to karate chop and be, you know, right? But for men, all of a sudden, they're so weak that they can't, they can't control themselves.
The woman is so tempting. She
threw herself at me. I was standing up there, she just had to back it up. I didn't know what to do. Come on, that's crazy. I just easily say that. You know how much man must be coming out to me? Come on, like.
And this easily goes into the next question, which we were basically answering, which was who struggles more with monogamy. And then,
Definitely,
you know, we might, you know, there is 3 women here, so, you know.
I think if we had men on the show, they would be saying the same thing. They would be like, we get thrown, like, you guys don't know how many girls come at us. We do, and you guys don't also know how many men come at us.
Exactly.
And we say, no, I have a man, That's a thing.
Yeah.
We're like, so what your man got to do with me? Everybody says they have a man when they have a man, right? And men don't care.
Everybody?
Well, not
Some
everyone.
women cheat.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of women do. But there are some women who are just like, well, what's good for the goose? You know what I'm saying? Like, right? And I'm like that. I'm bun for bun. If you are going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Really?
Okay.
If I find out my man's giving me bun, I'm giving him bun before I eat him. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. You need to burn too. Huh?
And you know what's so funny? Would you hand it to him in a note?
Oh no.
How would you let
I
him
want
know?
to see him react. I want to see it.
Because they can sense it too. They can sense it too. Sometimes. Women are obviously
We're better
at we are better at that, right?
Yep.
But I do find that once you've actually really disconnected,
they can sense it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we're such givers and we're so nurturing and all those things. So you're gonna feel when I pull away. You're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But if I don't want you to feel it, you won't feel it.
Yeah.
I will definitely keep going along just like normal until it's time for me to drop that ball.
Girl, you are killing me. I don't know that if I have that dedication. I can't.
I'm back like this in older age. Honestly, when I was younger, I would have been devastated. I was like, yeah, screaming and carrying on, like, oh, I can't believe you did that to me.
I'd be like, my heart,
right?
my heart.
Yeah, I would be crazy. But now, I'm like, oh, that's what we do it? Okay. Cool. No problem.
So how about if you, so how about if he gave you bun, you gave him bun, and he said, since we bun together, I forgive you.
No, we done. No.
Oh,
No.
Yo.
The bun wasn't a practice. It was a revenge thing. Like, no. We're done. I just wanted you to feel what I felt. That's it.
Yeah. It's hot. I'm feeling.
No, we're not doing this. We're not going back and forth bun for bun.
Okay.
So behind, we were speaking, and I was saying that we as women, we really have to start thinking more logically and less with our emotions, because we put ourselves in situations where I think that it could be avoided. That's all. That's it. Like, I feel like even in regards to some women saying that they are okay with polygamy, for instance, but really they don't want to, and then they end up marrying the guy, and because they believe, because they love him so much, and I'm just gonna be whatever he wants me to be, because I'm in love, oh my god, and then they think that they can change that man's mind, but on a logical sense, the man has already told you what he wants.
Yeah.
He told you that's what it is. So when it does happen, so ladies, if you want, don't be lying to men saying you want to do threesomes. Don't be lying to men to say you want to do polygamy or you're into all of that with open relations. When mentally you are not ready. That's all.
Yeah.
We were.
They're thinking too much about how things look. And I think that's often what we do. And that's often why some people are not truthful about them not wanting to be monogamous and things like that, because that doesn't look good.
That's right. That's right.
So
and you have your parents to think about, you have your culture to think about, you have your religion to think about, and all those things play a part in the decisions that you make for your partner and how you live your life. You know? And that plays a big part in it.
Yeah. So I think people need to just care less about how things look and do actually what's best for them, especially now, because really and truthfully, it is kind of, now I feel like you are a lot freer to do what you want to do, with a lot less scrutiny than before.
That's right. Because a lot of people have kind of broken those barriers and have just been like, okay, for my life, I'm doing what I want. Like, I'm gonna die soon. I'm gonna do what I want. Like, you know what I mean? And so that, I think, is, and I mean, it's good and bad, because some people say, like, you know, that is the degradation of society, because everybody and the family, because everybody's doing what they want, or, you know, whatever. But it's also contributing to people being more happy. Right? You're living the life that you want to live, and like I said, if you're honest and you're open with whoever you're engaging with, then there is nothing wrong with it. Don't harm children, don't harm animals, and get consent. That's it. Right?
Leave the poor animals alone.
Oh God, I don't even know how we got animals in this conversation. But anyway, on that note, please let us know if you enjoyed this conversation, what you think about monogamy, or, you know, not being monogamous, and what's worked for you in your life as well. And thank you, ladies, so much for coming and sharing your expertise, opinion.
Thank you so much for having us. This was fun.
I know, this was fun. Now we're gonna do the reverse. So I guess once we start back in January, so I guess we'll start going back.
Have Dani Changg.
Yes. We'll hold you guys to that.
Absolutely.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in to Dani Changg.
Oh.
Never thought I could be so unselfish, 'cause I gave you everything. Gave you all that I had, now you want someone else. Then again, I should've known you had problems with commitment. Confrontation became consistent. Get my life, I thought it was
talked to my parents about their